Alright, so I already took out the two bolts, the two that's up here on the other side, the trunk side. I had to take out the little pan, this pan right here, right? And that covers the gas tunnel, or the gas hose right here, going to the gas tank over here on this side. So those two, these two bolts. Oops. You see the two, the bolt right there, and the one over here that's hidden. So those two nuts, they should say nuts, are bolts. Those two are gone. I loosened up the 5 linkages. So let's start up from where the strut is, and go clockwise. So the first link here, I loosened up this one right here, and this is all 17 millimeters. That's one up there. Oh, dang it. So the second linkage, I loosened this one right here. That's 2. Going clockwise. Third one is this one right here. The other end of this one actually has an adjustment for the camber on the other end, so I loosened up this end. Same thing with this linkage right here. This is the lower lateral adjustment. This one also has an adjustment over there as well. All right, so we're on 3. The fourth one is, actually, you know what? I just skipped one. This one all the way down here. This one right here. So I loosened up that one. That one is actually this linkage right here. That's underneath. That's running underneath the parking brake. All right, so that's 4. Then this linkage up here. The one I loosened up is up over here towards the body side instead of the knuckle side. So that's 5. So those are the 5 bolts that I loosened up. Loosened up like a turn or so, a turn or 2. Then I loosened up the nut on the strut right here, where the eyelet is. Right, that's the eyelet of the strut. Because I loosened up those 5 suspension linkages. See that I can move. If I hadn't loosened up those 5, I wouldn't be able to do this. They would just completely, because there's tension at the bushings. Wherever the bushings are, it's tight, so there's tension there, so it stays there. It doesn't want to move very much. So basically, now I think that this is already loosened, so now I just need to pull it out. And to pull this out, I have to basically push down a little bit on the knuckle, because right now, if I don't push down on the knuckle, the suspension is actually still pushing apart, and it's actually pushing against the knuckle right here. So the holes are actually not lining up. So basically, if this is the suspension hole and this is the knuckle hole here, actually the outside is the suspension hole, and the inside one is the knuckle hole. Right now, what's happening is the suspension is actually pushing down, whereas the knuckle is staying up. So it's like this shear load on the bolt. So it's like it's pinching the bolt like so. So the bolt doesn't want to slide out. So I'm gonna push the knuckle down, so that way it lines up those 2 bolts while I pulled out on this thing. So I push, I'm pulling out the whole time as I'm pushing on the as I'm pushing on the knuckle, and you see it just flew right out. So it's out, right? So it's out now. So it's not there anymore. So here it is, and you can see how the suspension is still sagging down, because it's because that suspension wants to push out, right? Oops. And my gimbal is all, every time I knock it over, it always gets goofed up, and man, one of these days I'm gonna break it. It's probably time to get another one anyways. I've had this one for like at least 2 years, maybe 3. Okay, so now to get this out, to get the strut out, I have to do the same thing. I have to push down on the knuckle, because right now the knuckle is pushing, because this thing is actually pushing down on the knuckle, so there's tension on here. So if I push down on the knuckle and I release that tension, I basically let this get loosened, and I could push down on the, or I could excuse me, I could push this inwards to free it up. So let me do that. So one hand's gonna push down, the other hand's just gonna push inwards. There it goes. That's it, and it drops right down. Yeah, drops right down and right out. Alright, so that's it. So it's pretty easy. Just a matter of taking off and loosening up things. And when you change the springs, because when you change the spring, you change the height of the wheel, anyways, where it sits, the height of the car where it sits on the suspension. After you change the springs, you tighten everything up. You have to drive the thing around for like 500 miles, so to let it settle down, and you have to do an alignment. So when you loosen all these suspension linkages, it doesn't really matter so much if the alignment's off, because you have to get an alignment anyways, right? So no big deal. All right, so that's off. Next video, I'm gonna take off the stock spring. Actually, let's look at the stock spring real fast. So here's the stock strut. I'm gonna have to get my the spring compression to squeeze this in, so that way I can take the spring tension off of the shock. I have to loosen up this bolt here, and this bolt actually has an Allen key on it. I'm not sure what the size that is. It's either a 5 or 6 millimeter Allen key over here, but I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna put an impact wrench on it and to bust it open. And this nut here is when you put it back on, is 20 foot-pounds. These ones are 37 foot-pounds. And the suspension, all the other suspension with the linkages and including the eyelet here for the shock, it's all 54 foot-pounds. Okay. So I think I said that before in the other video, but so I'm gonna take this apart, and I'm gonna do that on the separate video and put on the new spring. Separate video, and when I put this back into the car, I'll do another video. Alright, thanks for watching.